What is going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to the next episode of the Three Peaks Fitness Podcast. I'm Coach Mark.
I'm Coach Lynette.
Lynette, man, these holidays, they've really got me burnt out. I think I need to practice some self-care.
Oh, you're going to go to the spa?
Yeah, I might do a little spa day, get a
Very
massage,
nice. Very
because
nice.
that's self-care, right? I want to make sure that I'm taking care of myself, isn't it?
It's one small part of self-care.
Oh, elaborate.
Okay. All right. So, yes, self-care is a topic I've been really interested in lately because what images come up for most people when they think about self-care?
Going to the spa,
Yeah.
Go lunch with a friend.
Yeah. Playing hooky from work.
Yep, taking off work. Yep.
Yeah. It's escapism. That people think that self-care is just an escape. So like, oh, I need to do a self-care day, and just take some time off. That is one small part of a very big thing that we need to be doing for ourselves. But self-care is not the warm and fuzzy topic that we all think it is. It is all about making decisions, thinking ahead, and being willing to make trade-offs and being willing to make tough decisions. So I've already lost some people. Like, what? No cucumbers on my eyes? Aww. So, self-care is about discipline, learning to set boundaries, learning to value yourself, make yourself a priority, and facing your stressors instead of always escaping them. Because when you face them, they actually can become smaller over time. We're going to get a little bit of psychology today. A little bit. So one of the biggest things about self-care is learning to make time for yourself. It's a very simple concept, but extremely difficult.
Yeah.
It's like learning chess.
Yeah.
You can learn it in 5 minutes, but it takes a lifetime to
Well, just
to
like
master
because
it.
something's simple doesn't mean it's easy.
Right.
Yeah.
Learning to make time for yourself. And it's getting harder and harder to do that because it's no longer built into the day naturally. Now we have to protect it. We have to plan ahead. And we have to sometimes really fight for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you don't believe in it, if you don't believe in your value as a person, then it's really easy to just let your day get taken away from you by other people's demands.
Yeah.
It's very, very easy, especially for parents, but it can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of the difficulties too is we tend to have an all or nothing mindset when. So if I want to, okay, I'm burnt out, right? I want to practice self-care.
Yeah.
I enjoy reading,
Yeah.
right? I enjoy reading. So I'm going to read, I want to read this new book that I just got from Barnes & Noble. But I look at my calendar and it looks like I only have 20 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 30 minutes here throughout the day. So in my mind, it's like, how am I'm not going to be able, I don't have time.
Yeah.
Right? I don't have time. What then? What if I
Right.
just don't have time?
Okay. So it may seem like, oh, I don't have time to read because, we have an image in our mind of curling up and just so getting absorbed into this book and just losing ourselves and, again, escaping. And books are a great escape. But we need to be willing to do less. So what I've been doing over the past year is I love to read inspirational stuff, but yeah, my days are crazy. So what I started doing a year ago was it was part of my morning routine to read something inspirational in the morning. And the only way that happens is after I get ready for work, I brush my teeth, do all the hygiene stuff, get dressed, and then it's almost like a choreographed routine in my day. I walk down the hallway, and then at the top of the stairs is my book. And so I sit down at the top of the stairs, literally. I have plenty of chairs in my house, but this is the thing that works for me. Is I sit at the top of the stairs and I read this thing for 5. Sometimes I have 10 minutes, so then I'll do 10 minutes if I have 10 minutes. Sometimes it's less than 5 minutes. If I'm running late, it's one paragraph. But I take that time out because it's important to me that I start my day off with something positive. And that it doesn't start with, I don't look at my phone and check email. I don't check things. I read that thing first.
Yeah.
So, yep. And so I read that and then I go down the stairs and then my day hits, the launching pad.
Yeah.
So people think, well, that's not enough. You know, you don't get to really enjoy it. But I know that I started the day doing something for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a really important part of self-care is being willing to do something, even if it's not the ideal.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
even no matter how small, right?
Yeah.
If this thing you want to do is in your mind, it's like,
Yeah.
you know, oh, I need a lot of time to do this. Just keep breaking it down.
Right.
Just keep breaking it down. Even if it seems trivial.
Yes.
Like, oh, what is reading one paragraph? Like,
Yeah.
Well, it's not always going to be a paragraph. There'll be times where it's a
Right.
page. There'll be times where it's
yeah.
10 pages, you know, but
Yeah.
just break it down to a manageable chunk.
Right. Those days when I don't have to, be anywhere early in the morning, I already have that in place. I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to do an hour today. What a treat.
Yeah.
But it's already in place. I don't have to decide, oh, I'm going to read today.
Right.
It's already part of the routine and it just happens.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really is a stress reducer to be able to just have something in your routine that you already do for yourself. And if you've been doing 5 minutes of it a day and then you're able to increase it or add a different 5-minute activity. If you like
Mm-hmm.
reading and doing something else, you can add that to it.
Yeah.
So, but if it's already part of your routine, then it takes all the work of deciding away from you.
Right.
And so I highly, highly recommend that strategy for self-care. So that's a little bit of having, the 5-minute activity. And then those are the things that pick something that's doable for you and enjoyable for you. That's all the things you think of, the yoga, the meditation, the reading, whatever it is you enjoy. But the next thing, number 2, the strategy number 2 that I want to share is not going to be nearly as popular, but it's extremely important. Okay. So I'm going to call this embracing the 3 Ds. Delete, delegate, do less. And this is where I lose people because they don't want to make these decisions. They want to just, they want to be all things to all people. And they don't want to make these tough decisions. They don't want to set limits on their own time and energy or the time and energy of their children. And in this area of the country, we have a lot of really high achievers. It's a very competitive environment. And so it's very easy to get overscheduled because you feel like, no, we have to do this because they're on track to, needing to be accomplishing these things in this, in the years ahead. And so we have to start now with X amount of activities for sports or music or whatever it is that we or our kids are involved in. So that is a trap that we can all fall into, is doing too much.
Yeah.
So what we do is you pull out your calendar and get ruthless. If you are feeling pulled around, if you feel like you are spending your days just reacting to things and just never doing what you want, but always doing things that you should do or have to do or obligated to do, and you can tell that, you can feel that in your soul, in your energy level, like, oh, all day long, I don't even know where the time went, and you just don't feel very fulfilled because you're never doing anything that you actually enjoy. And you never get time with your family to just be.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, pull out your time diary, whatever it is you use, and be ruthless. Like, do we really need to be involved in all these activities this often? Really get ruthless and decide which ones can I delete. This might be tough. You might get some resistance from your children, like, oh, but I love that. I love this. I love that. They may love all the 7 different things they're involved in, but it's okay to put limits on what your kids do so that they have time to reflect and watch the rain fall on the windows. And, it's good to be involved in things, right? You don't want them to be at home doing nothing ever. Like, they do need some extracurriculars. That's an important part of life. But there is a limit, right? It's good to a point.
Yeah.
It gets to be too much at a point. Got to need to be the example for mental and emotional health. And so you need to teach them that at a young age, because when they get older, they're just going to keep overscheduling themselves if you don't teach them to do it.
Yeah.
So,
you gotta have time to be a kid. When I think about when I was a kid, like
Yeah.
my fondest memories were just running around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
It wasn't football practice. It wasn't any of my extracurricular
The organized
things.
activities.
It was just running around being a kid.
Yeah. I did that too. I had a lot of time to just play outside and just be carefree.
Yeah.
Children need carefree time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and that's tough. If I tried to give that to my kids, and it was hard because all the other kids in their neighborhood were overscheduled. So it was kind of tough for them to have other kids to be carefree with. So we kind of had to invite some people over sometimes and kind of seek out other kids in the neighborhood. It took a little bit of work. I had to resist the temptation to overschedule them. Oh, everyone else is off to all these camps. Maybe I should send them off to camps. And I had to resist that. So, don't get sucked in. And then look at your habits. Look at your scheduled activities, but also look at your habits, because those can really suck your energy and your time. So how much TV are you watching? How much time are you spending on TikTok or Facebook or Reddit or whatever it is? If you keep a time diary for one day, it will be very enlightening.
Oh, you can go into your phone, or iPhones at least, will tell you how much time you're spending.
Yes, Androids have that. It's called digital well-being, and you go in there and it'll tell you, this is how much time you were on Facebook today. I'm like, ooh, okay.
Yep, it adds up pretty quick.
Right, and another thing is just now that we're doing more in-person stuff at work, people are realizing, you know what? I'm wasting a lot of time with people walking by my desk talking to me. And I'm not getting much done. So that will happen in other areas of your life too. Like, where are the time leaks and the energy leaks in your day?
Yeah.
So if you can find a time diary, they have tons of them online, but find one that has you write down what you're doing at least every 30 minutes, but every 15 is even better. And it's a pain. Doing a time diary is a pain, but if it is such a valuable activity to figure out, where am I putting my time and my energy? So figure out what habits serve you, and then get rid of the ones that don't serve you. Like, okay, maybe I can spend a little less time doing this thing that's not as beneficial. Then, okay, so the second thing, after you delete some activities, what can you delegate? This one is really tough for some people, because especially if you like things to be done a certain way. For instance, folding laundry at home. If you are a parent and you're folding all of the laundry of everybody in the house, that's probably not the best use of your time, right? Kids can fold their own laundry, and I know people are laughing out there like, no, they can't. They wad it up. It's not folded. It's like, it's okay for them to have laundry that's not perfectly folded.
Yeah.
And maybe they end up living out of a laundry basket all week. What is the worst that's going to happen?
Yeah.
30 years from now, is that going to be a terrible thing? No. So really get to the nitty-gritty with yourself and go, okay, is that really such a terrible thing if their clothes are not folded perfectly and put away in their drawers every day?
Yeah.
Like, decide, you might have to lower your standards a little bit on some stuff.
Well, who's it really an issue for? Is it an issue for your kid, or is it an issue for you?
Right.
Like, who's it really
Right.
impacting?
Is it worth your mental health? Is that really worth it?
Yeah.
Like, would you rather spend that hour having perfectly folded laundry, or you could have gone for a walk? You could have gone for a workout. You could have read your book. Like, whatever the thing is that you need to be doing for yourself. Instead, you're sitting there grumbling, folding laundry, resenting, and sacrificing and emptying your cup.
Mm-hmm.
So, really get ruthless with this and delegate things that can be delegated. And again, you might get some resistance or apathy from people. That's okay. That's their problem, not yours. Mm-hmm. So learn to separate yourself from that. And then the third one is do less. And be willing to just do things that are good enough. So when you're folding your own laundry, like, okay, I'm just going to, find a quick way to do this. Mm-hmm. And not try to do the A+ version of everything all the time. Like, well, what's the A- version of having a clean kitchen? What's the B+ version of my house cleaning, or whatever, fine, whatever the things are in your schedule that are sucking your time and energy. So, and it's different for every person. And something that I would suggest to people, it really helps to have another set of eyes, another brain helping you with this. Someone that is objective, but also very honest. So if you have a friend, like you're getting together and you want to say, hey, what do we want to do this year for our goals? Like, a lot of people have like resolution buddies or whatever. just do a time diary and then sit down and look at each other's time diaries and goes, oh, really? Is that the best use of your time? And have someone else as a sounding board to help you. They'll help you be more objective. So strategy number 3 is separating the shoulds from the coulds.
Yeah.
So you know a little about the shoulds.
Oh yeah. Yeah. My therapist, he always says, don't make sure you're not shoulding all over yourself. Yeah.
Yes.
It's really important because there's a difference between should and could, right?
Okay.
Should implies that you don't have power over the situation.
Yeah.
Right. And could means you do, right? I could if I want to. And so it's important to understand that you do have control over your schedule, and you do have control. You don't have control over everything, right? We can't control everything that happens to us, but we can, generally speaking, control how our days look.
Yeah.
Right. And that's something that's really important because from a self-care standpoint, because it's stressful to feel like you don't have control over what's going on. And I think a lot of people, their days, weeks, months kind of get away from them because you kind of are subject to all of these, your kids' activities and your things going on at work and all of these things. And we have a tendency to just toss our hand up and be like I just don't have time. You can figure out time. It just takes some effort.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I've had a friend who's a life coach, and she said, plan your free time first. So, of course, if you're doing work, like there's work hours, that's in place already.
Yeah.
But plan your free time first before all the other things, because they will take over. So plan your free time, and that's all the things that you need to do for yourself, the reading and the exercise and the self-care and prepping food and whatever it is you need to do to take care of yourself emotionally, physically, mentally, socially, and in environment.
Yeah.
For me, that's like how cluttered my house is. So I just lost track of my mind. Anyway, plan that first, and then guard it with your life.
Yeah, I feel like that's the key. It's all well and good, for a day
nice
or
on
two.
Paper.
Yeah, but you need to be fierce with those
Yes.
boundaries. You need to know, like, this is my whatever time. This is the time my family goes for a walk. No, I can't take a meeting.
Yeah.
This is when we go for a walk.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's really
whatever those
hard
activities
because
are.
in theory the walk could be moved.
Right.
But it's really important to set the precedent that stays in place.
Yeah.
Another one is parents feeling guilty when their kids want to do something that's really good, and that good thing that their kid wants to do is going to take over the time that you were going to have for yourself. So parents they have that battle of choosing themselves over their kids. That is extremely difficult. But it's extremely important that your children see you making time for yourself. That is a powerful example. So yes, it would be good if your kid was able to, go to this really great friend's house that, a friend that you really want that you think would be a good influence, or maybe they want to go to practice or something that you want them to be involved in, but you already have this other thing planned for yourself that you need to do for yourself. So you have to say, you know what, I have this thing planned. When can you do that another time? It's such a powerful example to kids to see you making time for yourself. And they might resist it. They might resent you at first, but later on they're going to remember that, like, oh, parents they have needs. They're not just there at the beck and call of their kids.
And you're teaching them in the future to set boundaries as well.
Yeah, it's
You're teaching
really
them it's
healthy.
okay.
That's really healthy.
Yeah.
Extremely healthy. So it's a powerful example. So I think we covered mostly everything. Oh, one thing to remember with the shoulds, back to the shoulds. A lot of times we're not aware of them. That's like our default function to just run around, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. If you hear yourself saying, I have to, a lot of times, I have to do this, I have to do that, then you're operating off of the shoulds. So just start to become aware of that. When you catch yourself saying, I should or have to, XYZ, pause in that moment and acknowledge that is a should. You got to call it out. You got to name it. And that is powerful. To name is like, oh, that is a should. Okay, am I going to keep that? Is that something I'm going to do? Like, do I want to do that? Is that something that serves me and is consistent with my values? Or is that me just operating off these obligations that are just running me ragged? So then you can make conscious decisions. So there's a final activity. I have not tried this out. I just read about this last night and I'm really excited about it, but I'm totally going to try this and I challenge anybody to do it. It's called the Tournament of Priorities. So if you have an area of your day that you're just not sure what to do, like what activities should I do? Like maybe your after dinner activities are kind of getting away from you, or the hours between work and dinner, or whatever it is. So write down all the activities on Post-it notes that you have the choice of doing, and then do like a March Madness activity where you just match them up by twos, and it doesn't matter. It can be completely random. It's like, oh, should I cook dinner, or should I go watch my kids play soccer? Should I, scroll social media? Like all the different things that you have found yourself doing, right? All the different activities that you want to do or find yourself doing. And then you match them up, and then you basically have winners of each bracket. And then you have to put on the Post-it note why that thing won that bracket. And then you match them up again, and you keep narrowing it down till you get down to one activity. And then you'll have on that Post-it note why that activity won each bracket. It's a very powerful activity. I'm really excited about it.
It's a good one.
Yeah, Tournament of Priorities is really cool. Fun activity to do with kids, too. Yeah. So, and then there's also the concept when you have choices between lots of good things to do. That's the problem we have nowadays is it's not always a choice between good and bad activities. It's a choice between many good activities. So we have to decide between the good, the better, and the best activities. And we want to keep shooting for the best activity. And sometimes the best activity is the one that serves you, right? And not always the one that is serving other people. Like service to other people is an important part of our mental and social health, but we have to make sure that it's not overdone. So, we have to think, okay, good, better, best. Sometimes we will have to say no to good things or even better things in order to do the best things. So have to, again, take our power back and make the decisions ahead of time instead of just getting pulled around by the shoulds. Yeah. So self-care is not as warm and fuzzy as we thought it was.
It's about discipline, boundaries, priorities, and facing those stressors.
Facing emotions, being willing to feel negative emotions, and making tough decisions. So
Cool.
Yeah. So figure out what you want to do. Start with that 5 minutes a day.
That's a good
start with that one.
Cool. All right, guys. That's all she wrote.
All right. Bye-bye.